is a sponsored video, bitches! Surprised? Yeah, keep making that face you've gone on for about a month and then you'll be where I am. Seriously, me, a YouTuber that has less subscribers than Tommy Innit has wives. I'm joking, guys, relax. But this video is sponsored by TOURBOX. The TOURBOX, in a nutshell, is the love child of a fidget cube and a PlayStation controller. If you're like me and you have a tendency to spam the Control-Z command until the keys on your keyboard are reduced to the density of a Pringles chip, then I think you could really benefit from this thing. Plug it into any USB port, fiddle with the presets a little bit, and you can basically program this thing to create fantastic art just by punching in the fucking Konami code. Okay, but for real, this thing is basically designed to take the hassle out of punching in all your keyboard shortcuts, and for some of you, eliminate the need for a computer mouse altogether. It has for me anyways. And the best part? Everything on this thing, including the knob and the dial, is a button. But you get the idea. Whether you're drawing, animating, or editing videos, the TOURBOX is a nice way to speed up your workflow and generally just make using your software a lot easier. If you're as serious about your work as I am, then trust me when I say that this is money well spent on a long-term investment. Normally, you can get it for about $169 on TOURBOXtech.com, but if you use my coupon code MANIC, you can get $10 whacked off right away. Link in the description if you want to check it out. And now, on with the video. I will say, like, first impressions wise, that getting to use the TOURBOX was actually really nice. At this point, I use it pretty much with, like, all of my digital art, or just whenever I need to, like, make a video or, like, crank something out, like a thumbnail real quick or something. But the other reviews really don't lie. This thing actually does speed up your workflow a lot. Personally speaking, I'm one of those people who uses like a screenless tablet, or like one of the things where it's like it can only fit your hand, there's no actual screen. And that kind of tablet only comes with like 2 or 3 big programmable keys, and otherwise if I don't use those, then I have to like manually reach over to like the keyboard to be able to hit Control-Z, Control-Y, the save, transform, all those mind you. So not having to reach as far, or being able to reach for those commands much faster with these like buttons and the presets has been very, very handy. Like, honestly, it cut the time in half. And if I'm talking logistics here, it used to take me probably twice as long to make drawings, but now with the TOURBOX and being able to program all these handy buttons, my work time has essentially been cut in half, or well, maybe I've trimmed it down by like 33%, but the point is I actually like using this thing a lot. It just feels good. It's the size of my hand, so it's not heavy, it's not big and bulky. I don't have to like lug it around places. I know it looks a lot bigger in the pictures, but trust me, it's actually a very small, handy little device, and the buttons just feel good to use, you know? It's like a step up from a fidget cube and a remote control, like in the same thing. I don't know, it's just very satisfying to touch all those buttons because all of them click. It feels really nice. But being able to program them as I please, like, you can literally program these buttons to do whatever you want, whichever you want, you know? Me personally, on the screen here, you'll see that these 2 tiny buttons I made undo and redo. The 2 rectangle buttons under those, I made the right one the shift button and the left one the alt button, so I can, like, easily select the colors that I need to use off, like, the reference or the actual, like, canvas, or with a shift button, then I can easily, like, you know, select more than one area of the thing at a time. The D-pad down there, I programmed those to be like a quick shortcut for like my brush and eraser tool settings and stuff. So if I need to like quickly change like the brush or the eraser, like the size, the opacity, the softness of the edges, that kind of thing, then I can easily do that. So it's like the switch between windows, those 4. The wheel above that, in the dead center of the controller, I use that one to zoom in and out of my workspace. So I can very quickly, very easily, like, focus on certain little areas that I want to fix, or at least define a little bit. You know, make them look nice anyways. Personally, for me, because that is my zoom knob, as I'll call it, clicking that allows me to see the whole canvas in one window space, which is very, very handy, because I was getting very sick of having to repeatedly spam the zoom in and out keys on my keyboard. But that little crescent moon button next to it, I made that one my command button just because it feels easiest to like hit that one with my thumb. Me, mostly command buttons are like for moving certain objects around on the page, and that's, of course, I do that like 1,000 times per piece of artwork because I'm never totally satisfied with where something is, you know? Yeah, that's just really nice. That wheel down there in the bottom left, I use that one to change the size, transparency, and opacity of my brush strokes, so I can easily make my lines bigger or smaller with that wheel. It's very flat, it spins very easily. I'm pretty sure that if I had an air compressor, I could make it spin like a jet engine. I am determined to find out. I will let you know in the future. Anyways, yeah, but you can click that button too. And me personally, if I click that button, then I can copy whatever I have selected. So that's like my Control-C button too. The little scroll wheel up there in the corner, I also have that set to zooming in and out. I never really changed it yet, but in tandem with the copy button, which is that wheel down there, I made clicking the scroll wheel up there my paste button, so I can easily like Control-C, Control-V certain things, you know? It's just very handy in my case. Actually, you know what? I might actually make that little wheel the thing to turn the canvas. So there's like 3 different things on this controller that like spin that you can program to do certain things. Like one might be for the brushes, one might be for zooming, one might be for turning the canvas. It's very versatile and you can honestly make whichever buttons do whatever you want, you know? It's a very flexible tool per se. But that rectangular button at the very top, I made that one my space button, so like I can actually drag the canvas around to like move easily, you know? So I don't have to keep zooming in and out just to like go a few inches over to the left or the right. And then the most important one that I think I programmed on this thing, you see that little button on the side over there? I made that one my save button because, speaking from experience, you can never save too often. I shit you not. God knows how many YouTube thumbnails I've lost to that mistake. So basically, this saves me the problem of having to deal with the possibility of the program crashing and me losing any of my progress. So one quick little tap and the whole thing is saved, and then I can just get back to doing whatever it is I do. And it's like, it's barely even a hassle to like go and like save it, like hit Control S, you know, it's just a little tap, saved, done, moving on. The TOURBOX does really make everything a lot more efficient in terms of workflow, and the nice thing is the TOURBOX isn't just like programs that work only with Clip Studio Paint or Photoshop. You can also use this to edit videos and I believe audio and stuff, so like, I haven't actually tested it out with Premiere Pro yet, but I believe you can make it so some of these things like scroll in and out of the timeline or apply certain effects or trim down like the length of certain keyframes, you know? Honestly, it's really handy for like whatever kind of content you're creating, you know? Whether it's editing videos or drawing art, it's a very nice thing to have, and I am very grateful that TOURBOX sent me this thing for free because honestly, if you're like really serious about your work and the stuff that you're doing, then I'd say like investing in this thing is not a bad idea at all. Like, it's definitely worth trying out at least. I'd encourage you to at least test it out because if you're one of those people like me who spends like 9 hours a day in front of their computer screen, either drawing, making videos or something like that, then this thing is gonna make it a hell of a lot easier to work on your projects. I can guarantee that for a fact. But that's mostly the positives in my case. It's comfortable, easy to work with, easy to program for that matter. I think the only downsides I have are personally that, chances are I may have gotten a faulty cord with my TOURBOX because like, if I shift the TOURBOX or the cord like a certain way, then it like disconnects, and honestly, it's not that fun. I kept having to like fiddle with it, but then again, I do have a USB adapter plugged into my MacBook Pro because sadly they got rid of those. Anyways, honestly, that's pretty much it. Besides the fact that I didn't get the greatest cord to work with, it may just be like a one-time manufacturing error. That's my only gripe. Just for mobility's sake, it'd be nice to have like a longer cord and everything. Besides that, and the fact that this thing does cost like $160, I mean, those are the only 2 gripes I really have about this thing. It's really nice otherwise, but I'd say it's definitely worth the investment if you want to look into something that'll help you speed up your workflow. So, don't just take my word for it. Try it out for yourself, please. It's very fun to use, kind of. It kind of makes me feel like I have the whole world at my fingertips in a nutshell. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this thing. Thank you, TOURBOX, for sending me this thing for free and getting to test it out. It was very fun to use these last couple of months, and you better believe I'm not gonna stop using this thing anytime soon. I actually like it that much. So yeah, that's fun.